You are standing on nothing, inside everything, watching a universe that refuses to stay still. Everywhere you look, distance is growing. Everywhere you listen, reality is quietly pulling away from itself. And somehow, you are inside the motion. Nothing in the universe is standing still. Not you. Not the earth beneath your feet. Not the stars that seem frozen in the night like ancient witnesses. The stillness you feel is an illusion, thin, comforting, and false. You are spinning at thousands of kilometers per hour on a planet that is orbiting a star, that is drifting inside a galaxy, that is racing through a cosmic sea where even the sea itself is stretching. Motion is layered upon motion, stacked so deeply that your senses surrender long before they can grasp it. Look outward. The galaxies are not calmly drifting like lanterns in a quiet sky. They are fleeing. The farther away they are, the faster they escape. Light stretched thin, colors drag toward red, signals arriving late and exhausted, as if even photons are struggling to keep up with the universe's expansion. This is not random chaos. This is pattern. This is law. And it leads to a question so unsettling that it fractures intuition itself. If everything is moving away, what is it moving away from? There is no visible explosion scar. No glowing center. No cosmic crater marking the place where it all began. Wherever you imagine yourself standing, here, there, anywhere, you appear to be at the center of the escape. The universe is expanding in all directions, from every point at the same time. If the universe had a destination, you wonder, would you already be late? Your instincts beg for geometry, a map, a direction, something solid. But the universe offers none. This expansion is not galaxies flying through space like shrapnel from a bomb. Space itself is stretching, quietly, relentlessly, like a fabric pulled apart thread by thread. The distance between everything grows, not because objects choose to move, but because the stage beneath them refuses to stay the same size. Imagine standing on a floor that slowly expands beneath your feet. You don't walk away from anyone. Yet, without moving, you find them farther and farther away. This is the universe's trick. There is no center you can point to and say, it started there. No edge you can chase and collide with. No direction labeled forward or away that means the same thing everywhere. Everywhere is the center. Every direction is outward. Reality has no reference point. This realization did not arrive gently. When astronomers first noticed distant galaxies fleeing faster the farther away they were, it wasn't greeted with wonder, it was met with resistance. A universe in motion threatened something sacred, permanence, stability, the idea that existence had always been, and would always remain, roughly the same. But the data did not care what felt comforting. When Edwin Hubble measured the stretching of light from distant galaxies, he wasn't trying to dismantle eternity. He was simply listening carefully. And what he heard was devastating. The universe was not static. It was growing. And it had been growing for a very long time. Suddenly, the night sky transformed from a museum into a crime scene, one where the evidence suggested that reality itself was fleeing from an event it could never revisit. And still, the question lingered like an echo in an empty chamber. What is pulling everything apart? As the measurements improved, the mystery deepened. The expansion was not slowing down. It was accelerating. Imagine throwing a stone into the air and watching it speed up as it climbs, racing away from your hand instead of falling back. Gravity should be pulling the universe inward, slowing its expansion, stitching the cosmos back together over time. But that is not what happens. Instead, the universe behaves as if an invisible pressure is pushing from within, an unseen hand prying open the seams of space itself. A force with no face, no source, no agreed-upon explanation. You feel it not as motion, but as consequence. Galaxies slip beyond reach. Future observers will see fewer stars than you do. Eventually, entire clusters will vanish over the horizon of what is observable, not destroyed, not extinguished, simply carried too far away for light to ever return. This is not destruction in the cinematic sense. There are no explosions, no screams, just absence. A slow, elegant erasure. And the most unsettling truth arrives quietly. Nothing you know is immune to this drift. Atoms resist it. Gravity fights back. For now. But on the largest scales, the scales that decide the fate of reality itself, resistance always loses. You are not watching the universe move through time. You are watching time stretch with the universe. Every second that passes is slightly wider than the last. The ticking of cosmic clocks grows more spacious, more lonely. Empires rise and fall inside a framework that is itself loosening, as if the universe is slowly forgetting how to hold itself together. This is no longer about astronomy. This is about trajectory. About whether existence is headed somewhere, or unraveling with no destination at all. Stand still for a moment, if such a thing is even possible. Feel the silence between galaxies widening. Feel the future pulling away from the present. Feel the strange truth settle in. The universe is not expanding into something. It is expanding away from itself. And if that is true, if reality is being carried forward by a force we cannot see, cannot touch, cannot explain, then the real question is no longer where everything is going. The real question is this. What happens when the universe has pulled itself too far apart to remember what it once was? Somewhere ahead, beyond the edge of intuition, something is driving the cosmos forward. And whatever it is, it has already begun to decide how this story ends. You arrive late to a universe that once believed it would never change. A cosmos frozen in confidence. Eternal, balanced, complete. Then a faint distortion appears in the light. And nothing is the same again. At the dawn of the 20th century, the universe feels settled. You can sense the certainty in the air of observatories, cold domes, brass instruments, patient notebooks filled with inked confidence. The stars are thought to be eternal lanterns. The cosmos, a grand but static cathedral. Vast, yes, but unmoving, timeless, finished. There is comfort in that idea. An eternal universe does not rush you. It does not threaten endings. It does not ask uncomfortable questions. You look up, and everything seems fixed in place, nailed to the night sky like pins in velvet. The Milky Way arches overhead, serene and permanent, a reminder that some things are too large to change. But certainty is fragile. Sometimes, it breaks not with an explosion, but with a measurement. You find yourself beside a quiet observer, not chasing revolution, not trying to rewrite reality. Just listening. Just looking. His name is Edwin Hubble, and he does not yet know he is standing at the edge of a fracture that runs through all of existence. He peers through glass and shadow, studying faint smudges of light once believed to be nearby clouds within our own galaxy. They look harmless, so distant, almost forgettable. But light, when examined closely, has a habit of telling the truth. And this light is wrong. You lean closer as Hubble does. Light, when broken apart, reveals a signature, bright and dark lines, a cosmic barcode etched by the atoms that created it. Each element leaves its mark, precise and unchanging. Hydrogen, helium, calcium, familiar, reliable. Except now, those lines are shifted, dragged, stretched. Imagine standing on a quiet road as someone screams your name from far away. The sound reaches you late, distorted, its pitch pulled downward, thinner, weaker. The farther they run, the longer the scream stretches, until it fades into something almost unrecognizable. This is what the light is doing. The galaxies are not just distant. They are receding. Their light is reddening, slipping toward longer wavelengths, as if space itself is pulling the sound of the universe apart as it travels. A scream stretched into silence. Redshift. At first, it feels like an error. A calibration issue. A trick of instruments not yet perfected. After all, the idea that entire galaxies are moving away is absurd. But the pattern holds. Again, and again, and again. The farther away the galaxy, the greater the shift. Distance and motion are married in a way that should not exist in a static universe. You feel the unease creep in, because this is not random motion, not galaxies wandering aimlessly through space. This is organized retreat. Every direction you look, galaxies are pulling away from you. not circling, not drifting sideways, fleeing. And the terrifying implication forms slowly, like frost creeping across glass. The universe is expanding, not metaphorically, not symbolically, physically. Space itself is growing. This is where the resistance begins. You can almost hear it, the shuffle of papers, the clearing of throats, the tightening of intellectual defenses. Because an expanding universe is not just a new data point. It is a threat. If the universe is expanding now, then it was smaller before. And if it was smaller before, then it had a beginning. A moment when everything was closer together, hotter, denser. A moment when the universe was not eternal, but born. And a universe with a beginning carries a shadow no one wants to name. An end. The scientific community does not reject the data outright, but it resists its meaning. Alternatives are proposed. Exotic explanations. Clever ways to preserve eternity. Because endings are unsettling even when dressed in equations. An eternal universe asks nothing of you. A finite one demands reckoning. But the light does not lie. Every observation whispers the same truth. The cosmos is not standing still. It is stretching, swelling, carrying galaxies apart like embers drifting from a dying fire. And something else begins to dawn on you. Something even more disturbing. This expansion has no center. Wherever you place yourself, everything else appears to be moving away. Stand in any galaxy, in any corner of the cosmos, and the same pattern unfolds. Escape in all directions. You are not at the center because there is no center. This is not an explosion in space. It is space itself changing size. The universe is not a stage where the actors move around. The stage is moving too. Pause here. Let the implications sink in. If space itself is stretching, then everything inside it is being carried along. Galaxies, stars, history. The past was closer together than the present. The future will be more spread out than now. Distance is not just a measure of space. It is a measure of time. Look far enough away, and you are not just seeing distant objects. You are seeing ancient moments, trapped light struggling across an expanding gulf. Messages sent when the universe was younger, tighter, more crowded. And one day, there will be regions so far away that their light will never reach you again. Not because they disappeared, not because they were destroyed, but because space stretched too much in between. They fall beyond reach, forever. This is the quiet horror hidden inside expansion. Not violence, not collapse, but separation. A slow, unstoppable drifting apart of everything that ever was. You feel small now, not in the comforting way, but in the fragile way. Like a thought that might be forgotten if the universe keeps expanding long enough. And the question sharpens, becoming unavoidable. If space itself is stretching, what happens to everything trapped inside it? The first crack in reality has formed. It began with light arriving slightly too red. With measurements whispering a truth no one asked for. The universe is expanding. It had a beginning, and it is still in motion. But this discovery is only the surface fracture. Because soon, scientists will notice something far worse. Something that transforms expansion from a curiosity into a cosmic threat. The universe is not just growing. It is speeding up. And whatever is driving it forward is still completely unknown. You search for a direction. Outward. Somewhere. But the universe offers no compass. Only distance growing in every direction at once. Only motion, without a place to arrive. Your instincts insist there must be a center. Every story you've ever known has one. A heart. A beginning you can point to. A place where it all started, where the first crack appeared, where motion burst outward like shrapnel from an explosion. You imagine it instinctively, a cosmic origin point. A scar in space. A glowing wound where the universe detonated and sent galaxies flying into the dark. So you search for it. You drift between stars, past spiraling galaxies, deeper into the black, expecting the density to increase, the heat to rise, the universe to feel younger the closer you get. But nothing changes. No matter where you go, the view looks the same. Galaxies recede in all directions. Space stretches beneath you evenly, quietly, indifferently. There is no denser region, no hotter core, no sign that you are approaching anything like a center. You stop, turn around, look the other way. The same thing happens. Everything is still moving away from you. That's when the unease begins to bloom. Because this should not be possible. If this were an explosion inside space, distance would behave differently. There would be a middle, a place where the debris thins out as you move away. A cosmic ground zero. But the universe refuses to give you that comfort. There is no central explosion point inside space. The expansion is happening everywhere. At once. You are offered an analogy, simple, friendly, almost playful. A loaf of raisin bread. As the bread bakes, it expands. The raisins don't crawl away from each other, don't choose to move. The dough itself stretches, and the distance between every raisin grows. No raisin is special. No raisin sits at the center. From the perspective of any single raisin, all the others are moving away. It feels reassuring, until you think about it too long. Because the analogy hides something terrifying. The bread is growing into something. An oven. A surrounding space. But the universe has no oven. There is no outside. No kitchen counter holding reality together. When space expands, it does not expand into anything. It does not spill over an edge. It does not collide with a boundary. The distances simply increase, as if the universe is quietly rewriting its own scale. Now destroy the analogy. Remove the bread. Remove the oven. Remove the outside. All that remains is stretching. Pure, centerless stretching. You feel your intuition collapse under the weight of it. There is no cosmic GPS to tell you where you are. No arrow labeled forward that points toward the future of space. No direction that means the same thing everywhere. Every direction is outward. Everywhere is the middle. And suddenly, location feels like a lie your brain tells itself to feel safe. You try to anchor yourself. Surely you think there must be some reference frame. Some privileged position. Some cosmic vantage point where the universe's motion makes sense. But the equations are merciless. Stand on any galaxy, yours, another, one so distant its light is barely a whisper, and you will observe the same truth. All other galaxies are rushing away, faster the farther they are. No exceptions. No favored observers. The universe does not care where you stand. This is the moment human intuition fails completely. Your brain evolved to survive on plains and forests, to judge distances that fit between footsteps and horizons. It wants beginnings that look like sparks, endings that look like crashes. But the universe offers neither. It offers a process. A quiet, mathematical unfolding. The expansion is not an event that happened. It is something that is happening. Right now. Underneath everything. Space is not a container holding matter like water in a glass. Space is an active participant, a dynamic fabric that can stretch, warp, and change its own rules without asking permission. You are not moving through space. Space is moving through. You search again, for an edge this time. Surely, if the universe is expanding, there must be a boundary. A frontier. A place where expansion meets nothingness. A cosmic shoreline where reality thins out and falls into whatever lies beyond. But there is no edge. Not even in principle. Travel forever and you will not reach a wall. You will not fall off the universe. You will not find a sign that reads end of space. Instead, space continues. Smooth. Continuous. Endless. This is not infinity as a poetic idea. It is infinity as a structural feature. A universe that can grow without ever touching a border, because borders do not exist within its rules. You feel the subtle dread of it. There is no finish line to race toward. No final destination waiting ahead. No ultimate there to arrive. The universe is not a road. It is an ongoing act. And you are embedded inside it, unable to step outside and see the whole. The psychological turn. This is where the language begins to fail. Words like movement, direction, and distance start to blur. They belong to a world where space is fixed and objects travel across it. But that is not the world you inhabit. The universe is not a place you live in. It is a process you are part of. Every atom in your body is participating in the expansion, not by stretching apart internally, but by existing inside a framework whose scale is slowly, inexorably changing. The rules beneath your feet are drifting, even if you cannot feel them yet. You are not anchored to a cosmic center because no such anchor exists. And that realization cuts deep. Because without a center, there is no privileged perspective. Without an edge, there is no final boundary. Without a direction, there is no obvious destination. Only continuation. Only separation. Only time unfolding alongside space, carrying everything with it. You begin to sense the deeper implication. If the universe has no center, then it may also have no preferred future. Somewhere in the mathematics, a name appears. A label humans give to the moment when everything was closer together than it is now. The Big Bang. But even this name misleads. It was not an explosion in space. It was an expansion of space. No central fireball. No outward blast wave racing through emptiness. Every point was once near every other point. The universe did not explode from a location. It emerged from a state. And if that is true, then the beginning was not a place you could ever visit. And the future may not be either. You feel it now, the unease that settles in when maps stop working. A centerless universe is hard enough to accept, but a directionless one is worse. If expansion has no center, then what governs its pace? If it has no edge, then what limits its growth? If it has no direction, then what does forward even mean? The universe could expand forever, or accelerate, or tear itself apart in ways you cannot yet imagine. There is nothing in the structure of space that guarantees restraint. And that realization turns awe into something sharper. Because a process with no center and no edge may also have no natural stopping point. It does not need a reason to continue. It only needs to exist. You are left floating in a universe that refuses to give you bearings. No center to return to. No edge to confront. No direction to trust. Only expansion, happening everywhere, all the time. And as you drift inside this boundless process, a darker question begins to take shape, one that will not let go. If the universe is expanding without a center, could it also be expanding without a limit? Because somewhere in that possibility lies a force powerful enough to stretch reality itself. And soon, you will have to face it. You thought the universe was slowing down, growing tired, easing into age like a long-burning star. Instead, it leans forward and begins to run. For a moment, just a brief, hopeful moment, everything seems reasonable. You imagine the universe like a stone thrown upward. It begins with violence, with force, with momentum inherited from its birth. Then, slowly, gravity takes hold. The climb weakens. Expansion decelerates. One day, perhaps, the motion halts. Balance returns. Maybe even collapse. This expectation feels natural, comforting, predictable. After all, gravity pulls everything inward. Galaxies are heavy. Matter attracts matter. The universe should be fighting against its own expansion, tightening its grip as time passes. So you wait for the slowdown. You build instruments. You measure distant explosions, stars dying in brilliant flashes, candles of light bright enough to be seen across billions of years. You watch how their glow fades, how their signals stretch as they cross the universe. You expect confirmation. What you find instead feels like a betrayal. The expansion is not slowing. It is accelerating. The universe is not easing into old age. It is pressing harder on the gas. Picture the metaphor again. You throw a ball into the sky. It rises. It slows. It hesitates. Then, against every rule you trust, it begins to speed up. Faster upward. Faster away. As if gravity has reversed its allegiance. This is what the data shows. Distant galaxies are not merely drifting apart. Their retreat is accelerating, their separation growing more rapid with each passing billion years. Space itself is stretching faster now than it was before. You feel the wrongness of it in your bones. Something is pushing. Not from the outside. There is no outside. Not from a center, there is no center. The push is everywhere. Uniform. Persistent. Invisible. A force with no face. Scientists give it a name not because they understand it, but because language demands something to point at. Dark energy. The name sounds ominous, but it is almost apologetic. Dark, because it does not emit light. Energy, because it behaves like pressure, like tension embedded into space itself. But these are placeholders. Labels taped onto a mystery too large to grasp. Dark energy does not glow. It does not clump. It does not announce itself. It simply acts. And its action is terrifyingly effective. You try to imagine it, not as a thing, but as a presence. Every cubic meter of space, even the emptiest void between galaxies, carries a faint pressure. A whisper of energy that does not dilute as space expands. As more space comes into existence, more of this pressure appears with it. Space grows. Dark energy grows with it. Like interest compounding in an account no one can access. This is the nightmare logic of it. Matter thins out as the universe expands. Galaxies spread apart. Gravity weakens over large distances. But dark energy does not fade. It waits patiently, then takes over. And now it dominates. Not a majority. A near total rule. Roughly 68% of everything that exists is this unseen force. Not stars. Not planets. Not gas or dust or life or memory. Most of the universe is something you cannot see, touch, or explain. You are living inside a cosmos whose primary ingredient is unknown. That realization hums beneath everything. Every breath you take. Every thought you form. Every night you look up and assume you understand what you're seeing. You don't. Dark energy is not content with quiet expansion. It accelerates, which means the future of the universe will not resemble its past. Galaxies that are visible now will one day slip beyond reach, carried away by the swelling of space faster than light itself can bridge the distance. Not because they move too fast, but because the space between you and them grows too quickly. They fade, one by one, until the night sky empties. This is not destruction in the dramatic sense. No explosions. No shockwaves. Just absence. A slow erasure of connection. You imagine a far future observer, looking out from a lonely galaxy, seeing nothing but darkness. No evidence of a larger cosmos. No clues that anything ever existed beyond their own small island of stars. To them, the universe will appear static again. But this time, the stillness will be a lie born of isolation. And the acceleration does not stop there. Dark energy does not merely push galaxies apart. It stretches space itself. And if its nature remains unchanged, if its pressure stays constant or grows stronger, the consequences escalate from lonely to catastrophic. Atoms rely on forces to stay bound. Stars rely on gravity to stay whole. Galaxies rely on structure to exist. Acceleration, unchecked, can overcome all of it. You feel the question sharpen now, not academic, not distant. Personal. If dark energy continues its work, what does it do to you? Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. In one possible future, expansion becomes so violent that galaxies tear apart. Stars are stripped from their orbits. Planets are flung into the void. Finally, the very forces holding atoms together are overwhelmed. Reality rips itself open at the seams. Space stretches faster than matter can endure. This is not science fiction. It is one of the mathematically allowed endings. And the cause is not a monster or a collision or a cosmic accident. It is the universe doing exactly what it is already doing, just more of it. Dark energy does not hate existence. It is indifferent to it. And that indifference is far more dangerous. You realize something unsettling. The universe is not merely expanding toward an unknown fate. It may be being dragged there. You search for understanding. Is dark energy a property of space itself? A quantum effect bubbling up from the vacuum? A sign that gravity behaves differently on the largest scales? Theories bloom and wither. Some suggest space is restless at its deepest level, filled with energy even in perfect emptiness. Others whisper that gravity is incomplete, that on cosmic distances, it turns repulsive. Still others wonder if the universe is leaking energy from dimensions beyond perception. None are confirmed. All are incomplete. The equations work, but only because dark energy is inserted like a missing variable. A confession of ignorance disguised as math. You know what it does. You do not know what it is. And that distinction matters. Because without knowing its nature, you cannot predict its future behavior. A constant force is frightening. A changing one is worse. If dark energy evolves, if its strength grows, then the universe's fate shifts from distant to inevitable. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. Sit with that thought. Most of existence is governed by something no one understands. Your body, your planet, your history, all of it floats inside a framework shaped primarily by an invisible pressure written into the fabric of reality. The stars you love, the galaxies you admire, the future you imagine, they are passengers. And the driver has no face, no intention, no destination you can see. Just motion, acceleration. The universe does not ask whether you are ready. It simply expands. Dark energy has entered the story, not as an answer, but as a challenge. It explains the acceleration, but deepens the mystery. It tells you what is happening while refusing to tell you why. And now, a darker question waits in the shadows. If this force dominates the universe, if it controls the fate of space, time, and matter, why can't you define the thing that controls almost everything? Because somewhere inside that ignorance lies the true ending of the cosmos. And you are already on the way there. You expect a direction, a destination carved into the dark, a final arrow pointing there. But the universe does not point. It only separates. And you are drifting with it. You try to imagine motion the way you always have. An object leaving a place. A traveler crossing distance. A journey with a before and an after. So you picture galaxies as voyagers, spirals and ellipses gliding through a vast, empty ocean of space, moving away from some ancient starting point toward some unseen horizon. But this picture breaks the moment you look closely. The galaxies are not sailing. They are being carried. You feel it when you stop thinking of space as emptiness and start sensing it as movement itself. Not a background. Not a stage. A current. Like standing in a river at night, unable to see the banks, unable to tell how wide it is or where it began, only that the water is moving and you are moving with it. The galaxies are not traveling through space toward a destination. Space is carrying them apart. You are not watching objects flee. You are watching distance being manufactured between them. And suddenly the question changes. Not where are they going, but what is happening to the space between everything? Imagine the universe as a river with no riverbank, no shore to grab, no edge to mark where it ends, only flow. The current is gentle at first, almost imperceptible. You could stand still for a lifetime and never notice it tugging at your ankles. Galaxies form. Stars ignite. Planets gather their dust and begin their long, quiet orbits. Locally, gravity pushes back. Stars cling to their planets. Planets cling to their moons. Galaxies spin, bound tightly by invisible threads of mass and motion. On these scales, the river feels calm. You are held together. Atoms do not stretch. Your body does not unravel. The floor beneath you does not drift away. Gravity resists the flow, stitching matter into structures that feel permanent. But lift your gaze. Zoom out. The farther you look, the stronger the current becomes. Between galaxies, gravity weakens. The stitches loosen. The river deepens. And distance begins to win. Clusters of galaxies pull apart. Superclusters dissolve. What once seemed like the architecture of the cosmos reveals itself as temporary scaffolding, beautiful, intricate, doomed. On the largest scales, nothing can resist forever. Not because gravity fails, but because space itself refuses to stay the same size. This is where intuition begins to fracture again. Rivers flow through landscapes. But this river is the landscape. It does not carve a path through something else. It creates its own length as it moves. Every second, more river exists than before. More distance. More separation. You realize something unsettling. The universe is not expanding into something. It is expanding away from itself. The past was closer together than the present. The present is closer together than the future. Reality is stretching in time, leaving its earlier states behind like footprints that slowly fade. And you, every thought you have ever had, exist on one of those footprints. You are not standing still while the universe moves. You are embedded in the motion, carried forward whether you agree or not. This is not a journey toward a place. It is a journey toward difference. For now, the universe still looks rich. Galaxies blaze with stars. Nebulae glow like cosmic lungs. Black holes bend light into spirals of fire and silence. The night sky feels crowded, alive, overwhelming. But this abundance is temporary. Each galaxy is an island, and the water between them is rising. As space stretches, light from distant galaxies grows thinner, weaker, redder. Eventually, the current becomes too strong. The light cannot fight it. Messages sent across the cosmos fail to arrive. Not because the source disappears, but because the distance grows faster than light can cross it. One by one, islands slip beyond the horizon. Not destroyed, just unreachable. The universe does not end in flames. It ends in silence. And you begin to understand, where everything is going is not a place, it is a state. A state of increasing separation. Space does not move alone. Time is dragged with it. As distances grow, events stretch apart. Cause and effect loosen their grip. The universe's story becomes harder to tell because its chapters drift too far from one another. The ticking of cosmic clocks grows lonely. Stars burn their fuel and fade. Galaxies exhaust their gas. New light becomes rare. Memory, in a cosmic sense, depends on interaction, on light traveling, on information reaching observers. As expansion accelerates, memory thins. The universe forgets itself. Not all at once. Slowly, gently, in a way that feels almost merciful. You wonder, quietly, whether meaning survives in a universe that cannot remember its own past. You feel the weight of it now. Not panic. Not despair. A softer dread. The kind that settles in when you realize there is no final chapter written yet, and that the story may not end with punctuation, but with ellipses. If expansion never stops, then structure is temporary. Connection is fragile. Everything that relies on closeness, forces, relationships, even causality, becomes harder to maintain. The universe trends toward isolation. Not because it chooses to, but because separation is written into its geometry. And you, brief, conscious, astonishingly aware, exist in a narrow window where the universe is still connected enough to be understood. That realization carries both wonder and sorrow. You are early. You are lucky. You are temporary. Movement 7. The question sharpens. So where is everything actually going? Not toward a wall. Not toward an edge. Not toward a destination waiting at the end of space. Everything is going away. Away from closeness. Away from density. Away from shared moments. The universe is not marching forward. It is pulling itself apart. And the most unsettling part is not that this might happen. It is that it is already happening. Right now. Every second you exist, the cosmos becomes slightly more spread out than it was before. Slightly more fragmented. Slightly more distant from its own beginning. This is the core mystery. Not motion. Not speed. But direction without destination. You think about what survives this process. Gravity resists. For a time. Atoms resist. For longer. But on the grandest scales, the scales that decide the fate of everything, resistance only delays the inevitable. The universe does not promise permanence. It promises process. And process does not care about comfort. If expansion never stops, then time stretches thinner. Matter becomes rarer. Memory fades into darkness. The universe does not collapse. It dissipates. And you begin to sense that the future of reality may not be violent at all. It may be quiet. You are left with a haunting realization. Everything you have ever known is not heading somewhere. It is heading apart, carried by a river with no banks, no end, and no concern for what drifts within it. But this raises a deeper, more dangerous question, one that refuses to stay theoretical. If expansion never stops, what happens to time, to matter, to memory itself? Because somewhere ahead lies a future where the universe becomes too vast to remember what it once was. And that future is already pulling you toward it. You look ahead and see not one future, but many shadows overlapping, each one quiet, each one final. The universe does not promise how it will end, only that it will. Until now, the universe has felt vast, mysterious, but survivable. Stars still burn. Galaxies still glow. Light still travels far enough to tell stories. You exist in an era of connection, where the cosmos is loud with signals, crowded with structure, generous with time. But the future is not obligated to preserve this generosity. You begin to understand something unsettling. The laws that built this universe do not guarantee its comfort. They describe motion, not mercy. Evolution, not permanence. Ahead of you lie endings, not prophecies, but possibilities. Each one permitted by the same equations that let stars shine and atoms hold together. The universe does not choose between them yet, but it is moving toward one. The first ending is the quietest, the most patient. It does not arrive with fire or fracture, but with exhaustion. This is the path known as heat death. Imagine time stretching so far that even change grows tired. Stars burn through their fuel, one by one. Not in rebellion, not in panic. They simply run out. The nuclear furnaces at their cores cool, dimming from brilliance to embers, then to darkness. Galaxies, once vibrant cities of light, become archives. Collections of stellar corpses orbiting in silence. Black holes linger the longest, massive and patient, slowly evaporating over unimaginable spans of time, whispering away their mass particle by particle. Expansion continues. Galaxies drift beyond visibility. Not destroyed, just carried too far apart for light to bridge the gap. Each becomes a lonely island in an ocean that no longer carries messages. Eventually, there is no energy left to do work. No gradients. No flow. No difference between one moment and the next. Time still exists, but nothing happens inside it. You try to imagine consciousness in such a universe. Thought requires contrast. Memory requires change. Meaning requires events. Here, there are none. The universe does not end. It fades. The second ending does not wait. It rushes. This is the scenario called Big Rip. In this future, dark energy does not remain gentle. Its pressure grows stronger as time goes on, its grip on space tightening instead of loosening. Expansion accelerates. Not slowly, relentlessly. At first, the effects seem distant. Galaxies drift apart faster. Clusters dissolve. The night sky empties more quickly than expected. Then the scale shifts. Gravity, once the great architect, begins to lose its authority. Galaxies tear themselves apart, stars flung outward as space stretches faster than gravity can hold them together. Later, solar systems unravel. Planets slip free from their stars, carried away on expanding currents of space. And then the horror turns microscopic. The forces that bind atoms, electromagnetic attraction, the quiet glue of existence, begin to fail. Space stretches between particles faster than they can cling to one another. Matter frays. Atoms unravel. Even time begins to fracture, as cause and effect lose their footing in a reality being torn faster than it can respond. There is no explosion. There is no moment to scream. One instant, structure exists. The next, it does not. The third ending does not announce itself at all. It is called vacuum decay, and it is the most unsettling of all, because it could already be on its way. Imagine that the universe, at its deepest level, exists in a fragile state, a temporary arrangement of fields and energies that only appears stable. A false vacuum. A plateau balanced above something lower, deeper, more fundamental. Now imagine that, somewhere in the vastness of space, a quantum fluctuation triggers a collapse. A bubble forms. Inside it, the laws of physics are different. Not slightly different. Unrecognizable. The bubble expands at the speed of light. No warning can outrun it. No information escapes it. As it passes, the constants that define reality, mass, charge, force, are rewritten. Atoms cannot exist. Light has no meaning. Time itself may not survive the transition. Reality is not destroyed. It is replaced. You would not see it coming. You would not feel pain. You would simply stop being possible. Pause here. Let the distance between abstraction and existence collapse. These endings are not stories about stars alone. They are stories about you. About every memory you have ever formed. Every face you have ever recognized. Every idea that has ever crossed a mind. In the heat death, you are forgotten, not because you were unimportant, but because there is no one left to remember. In the big rip, you are undone, not violently but thoroughly unstitched down to the last particle. In vacuum collapse, you are erased, not as a tragedy, but as a side effect. No witnesses. No aftermath. Just discontinuation. And the most unsettling truth is this. The universe does not owe existence an explanation for why it stops. You feel something strange now. Not fear. Perspective. The universe has been alive with structure for billions of years. Long enough to create stars, planets, chemistry, biology, thought. Long enough for you to be here, listening. That alone is astonishing. These endings do not cheapen existence. They sharpen it. Because if everything ends, slowly or suddenly, then every moment that does occur is rare beyond measure. A temporary defiance against entropy. A brief flare of order in an ocean trending toward silence. The universe is not cruel. It is indifferent. And indifference, paradoxically, is what allows meaning to exist at all. Because meaning is not imposed from above. It is created locally, briefly, by you. Which ending awaits? A long, cold fading? A violent unraveling? A sudden rewrite with no witnesses? The equations allow all three. The data has not chosen yet. Dark energy may remain calm, or it may grow unstable, or the vacuum may be less stable than it appears. You live inside a universe that has not revealed its final intention, and that uncertainty hums beneath everything. You are left standing at the edge of possibility, staring into futures that differ not in whether they end, but how. Slow silence. Violent separation. Instant erasure. So you ask the only question that matters now. Is the universe dying slowly? Or preparing something sudden? Because somewhere ahead, far beyond your lifetime, or unimaginably close, reality is already choosing. And the answer will redefine what it ever meant to exist. You pull back, past stars, past galaxies, past the scaffolding of reality itself. What you see is not an ending, but the direction. A universe already leaving. You have spent your life thinking the universe had a beginning. A moment, the flash. An explosion tearing silence into existence. But as you drift farther out, beyond constellations, beyond cosmic walls, you begin to feel that this picture was never quite right. The beginning was not a blast outward into empty space. There was no empty space. There was only everything, compressed, intimate, inseparable. What we call the Big Bang was not an event that happened somewhere. It was a condition, a direction, and you have been moving away from it ever since. You are not traveling through the universe. You are traveling with it. Close your eyes, not inward, but outward. Imagine every atom in your body once pressed against every other atom that would ever exist. No distance, no separation, no silence between things. Just an impossible closeness where the idea of elsewhere had no meaning. Then, release. Not an explosion, but a stretching. Space itself inhaling. Reality learning how to make room. From that moment onward, everything began drifting apart. Not because it was pushed, but because space kept growing between things, endlessly manufacturing distance. Galaxies did not flee from a center. There was no center. Every point became the center. Every direction became outward, including you. Every breath you take, every thought you form, happens in a universe still expanding from that original intimacy. A universe whose defining feature is separation. Stars form, but only because gravity briefly resists this pull. Planets gather, but only temporarily. You exist because forces hold together, for now. Expansion is patient. It does not rush. It waits. There is something unsettling about a universe with no reverse. No rewind. No return to closeness. Everything you have ever known, every mountain, every ocean, every mind, exists on a one-way journey. Not toward a destination, but away from a moment that can never be revisited. You feel it when you look at distant galaxies, their light stretched red, diluted by the expansion of space itself. Each photon arrives carrying a message from the past, weakened by distance that did not exist when it was born. The universe is not aging like a creature growing old. It is dispersing like a memory fading. Expansion is not movement through space. It is space learning to forget what it once held together. Think of memory. It requires proximity, connection, reinforcement. Now imagine memory being stretched thin, synapses pulled apart, signals taking longer to arrive, patterns dissolving. This is what expansion does to the universe. Galaxies drift beyond one another's reach. Their light can no longer arrive. Their histories become inaccessible. Entire cosmic civilizations, if they ever exist, will live and die never knowing others were out there at all. Not because they were alone, but because space erased the paths between them. Expansion is the universe forgetting itself. Not maliciously, inevitably. You feel the weight of it now. If the universe is always pulling apart, then stability is not the rule. It is the exception. Stars burn by delaying collapse. Life exists by borrowing time. Consciousness flickers in a narrow window where complexity can briefly survive the stretch. Nothing is designed to last. And yet, here you are. A thinking pattern formed from matter that knows how to come apart. That is not meaningless. That is astonishing. Zoom back in. From cosmic scale to human scale. Your life follows the same arrow. You are born into closeness, cells dividing, systems assembling, identity condensing. For a while, things gather. Memories accumulate. Relationships form constellations. Then slowly, separation begins. Moments pass and cannot be retrieved. People drift out of reach. The future opens wider than the past. You are not failing at permanence. You are participating in the universe's direction. Here is the realization that changes everything. Meaning does not come from lasting forever. It never did. Meaning comes from happening at all. In a universe that could have remained silent, never forming stars, never cooling enough for atoms, never allowing complexity, you exist. Briefly. Improbably. Against a backdrop of constant separation. The universe does not promise continuation. It offers opportunity. And that opportunity is fleeting, which makes it precious beyond calculation. Every act of creation, art, thought, compassion, is a local rebellion against expansion. The moment where matter says, stay. Stay connected. Stay meaningful. Stay aware. Even if only briefly. You are not defying the universe by caring. You are expressing the rare condition where caring is possible at all. Pull back again. Past Earth. Past the Milky Way. Past the web of galaxies dissolving into darkness. The universe continues expanding, carrying every story ever told farther from every other. No final gathering awaits. No cosmic reunion. Just an ever-widening canvas where moments spark and fade. And yet, right now, the universe remembers itself through you. If nothing lasts, if even space forgets, if every structure is temporary, then why did anything form at all? Why did the universe choose laws that allow stars before darkness? Thought before silence? Meaning before forgetting? The answer is not behind you. It is still ahead. And the universe is still moving. Away from its beginning. Toward a mystery it has not yet revealed. There will be no final sound. No collapse into silence. No curtain falling on existence. Only distance. Only motion that never asks to be remembered. Close your eyes, Not to escape, but to listen. Strip away the stars. Strip away the galaxies. Strip away the last fragile islands of light. You drift into an age where the universe has grown tired of shining. There is no drama here. No violence. No explosion to mark the end. Just an immense quiet stretching in every direction, like a breath that never finishes leaving the lungs. And somewhere within that quiet, one final traveler remains. A single particle of light. A lone survivor of a universe that once burned bright. The last photon. Imagine it. Not as a point. Not as a spark. But as motion itself. Born from the death of the final star, it escapes into a cosmos that no longer knows what stars are. It carries no message, because there is no one left who remembers the language of light. It moves because moving is all it can do. The photon does not age. It does not tire. It does not wonder. It simply goes. Space stretches beneath it like an endless corridor whose walls are pulling away even as it travels. Distance multiplies faster than memory ever could. There are no eyes to receive it, no atoms to absorb it, no minds to ask what it means. Only expansion, only forever. You have always imagined endings as moments. A final second, a final breath, a final thought. But the universe does not end like a story. It ends. Galaxies drift so far apart that even their names, if they ever had them, lose relevance. Time continues to tick, but nothing changes. Not because everything is complete, but because nothing remains to be completed. This is not death. It is irrelevance. The most unsettling fate of all. Without observers, the universe does not stop existing. But it stops being known. No one measures time anymore. No one distinguishes past from future. No one marks events as important. Physics continues its quiet work, but meaning has evaporated like heat into space. The last photon keeps moving, stretching longer, redder, weaker. Its wavelength expanding until even the concept of light dissolves into something unrecognizable. It becomes less than a whisper, less than a memory. And here is where the weight finally lands. Everything you have ever loved, every voice, every story, every fragile moment of beauty, exists only because the universe has not yet reached this state. Because stars still ignite. Because atoms still cling. Because minds still assemble long enough to ask questions. You are living in the narrow middle. Between impossible beginnings and silent infinities. That is not accidental. It is temporary. And that makes it unbearable and sacred. You feel it now, don't you? This story was never just about the universe. It was about you. You, too, are a pattern held together briefly against the pull of separation. Your memories expand, thin, fade. Your moments drift into the past, unreachable except through fragile recollection. And yet, you look back. You remember. You resist the forgetting. That is what consciousness is. A local defiance against cosmic amnesia. Consider the odds. A universe that could have remained empty instead learned how to think. For a fraction of cosmic time, matter arranged itself into beings that could notice motion, wonder about endings, and imagine photons long after stars are gone. You are not important because you last. You are important because you notice. Because you can see the universe leaving and still care. Return to the darkness. The last photon continues. No destination. No arrival. Space stretches faster than it can cross. Time flows without landmarks. The universe is no longer asking questions. But once, long ago, it did. Once, the universe looked back at itself through countless eyes. Once, it wondered where it was going. Once, it knew it was moving away, and chose to sing anyway. Movement 9. The lingering thought. The universe is not asking where it's going. It already knows. It is asking something quieter, something more fragile. How long will someone be here to notice? How long will there be minds that look backward, even as everything moves away? Everything is moving apart. Every structure dissolves. Every story ends. And yet, here you are, aware of it. In a universe defined by separation, awareness itself is a direction that points inward. That may be the rarest direction of all. And it will not last. Which is why it matters now.